Hey guys, here is my presentation over the case study, Everyday Counts. My name is Kaylee Taylor, and I'm going to be walking you through my slides. Alrighty, so for section 1 here, what has happened or what is happening? Attendance is being covered up and attendance rates are made to appear better than they actually are. Attendance is not being accurately reported at Golden Oak High School. The school has even received recognition for achieving the highest rate of attendance among all high schools in the district. So this really rubbed me the wrong way because recently this year I've kind of had some experience with attendance that may or may not have been recorded accurately. One of my teaching cohorts partners had an experience with this, and I've also noticed that sometimes attendance is changed in Tyler SIS, which is the program that we use, to reflect students not being gone as many days as they actually are. When and where did certain events occur? Golden Oak High School. Who is or might be involved in or concerned by the situation? Well, the principal, athletic director, school counselor, all teachers who work in the building, students who have missed more than 10 days during the first semester, so Tyrone, Karen, Christina, Carl, and John, and the guardians of the students. What do the parties involved have to say about this situation? Well, absences that have been excused by teacher, athletic, and parents. Oh, I meant to say athletic director, so that's a typo. And parents had reasons for why they did what they did. Each specific scenario presents attendance problems and brings to light the need for attendance consistency. Should attendance be looked at through the lens of a case-by-case basis, or should attendance policies be consistent across the board no matter the situation? This is the question I had as I was reading through these case studies. I'm going to go ahead and fix that typo before moving on. All right, moving on, and I apologize. There are a lot of words on here. I'm going to try to frame the words on the screen. There we go. Perfect. So section 2, has anyone been harmed by the action or decision of another, and if so, in what way? Not physically speaking, no. Not one of the 5 students is in danger of being physically harmed, at least from what we know so far based on the case study. However, one could argue that negligent parents not upholding their duties as far as participating in making their child's education as priority could be harmful to the individual's future. So once again, the child's not being hurt physically, but one could argue that this scenario is going to mentally affect the child in the future, potentially. Does the action or the situation contravene an existing law? Well, school board policy was aligned with state law, which allowed excused absences only for illness, death in the immediate family, inclement weather, or a valid reason excused by the principal with prior approval. This was a quote that I took directly out of the case study. So it is policy with state law. So it is not, so if students miss more than so many days, they are truant, and I've had experience with that. And so I'm glad that they brought that to light, that this is actually against the law, and it is written in Kansas's state law that students must attend school, and after so many days, they are considered truant. Was there a breach of Was there a breach of contact? Nope, breach of contract. There we go. It's late. Were the actions discriminatory or constituted harassment? Yes, Tyrone missed more than 10 days, which would put him in violation of the truancy policy at Golden Oak High School. Christina is in violation of the truancy policy because she has missed at least 12 days of school. Additionally, her minister is the one requesting her absences from school, but there is no documentation from parents and legal guardians regarding her absence. Carl's father is also in violation of breach of contract due to Prince versus Massachusetts. because a parent has the legal obligation to ensure that their child receives an education. State is considered superior to parents in regards to welfare of the child's education. It seems as though John is receiving special treatment, and then I put in little brackets, reverse discrimination, ? I wasn't exactly sure what this fell under. His teachers are responsible for reporting him absent no matter the circumstances. Alrighty, section 3. So the overall issue here is attendance documentation is in question at Golden Oak High School due to various circumstances surrounding attendance issues, as well as those making decisions on behalf of the students at Golden Oak High School. Section 4, what is known and what is unknown. So for known for people, the names of each individual presented in each scenario is known. Increasingly diverse population. There are 965 students in the school serving grades 9 through 12, mostly working with middle-income households, low turnover rate among the teaching staff, and athletic director has been at school for at least 10 years, known for being successful due to several teams going to state championships. And then I was also thinking maybe he's a tenured teacher because he's been there for so long. I know some districts do that. Unknown. The race of each individual is unknown. Family income status. Religion of each individual is unknown. Place, known. Community is consisting primarily of small local businesses and local industries. Parents work in a metropolitan area adjacent to the community. It is a large school district and it's in a suburban community. Unknown, the state and city of the high school. Overall demographic statistics of the high school population, and then also current attendance rate. And then I put previous year ? So those would be all important things to take into consideration. And program, 11 different team sports, that's known, and 31 different student clubs is known. The unknown is what curriculum resources are used, intervention and curriculum for all major subject levels, such as reading, math, social studies, science, and then we don't know if it's a private versus public school. One can guess that it's probably a public school, but it doesn't come out in the case study and say explicitly whether it is private or not. All right, section 5. Could the conflict, the situation, or decision be damaging to stakeholders or the community? It could be yes, depending on, especially if the decisions made are made without consistency, allowing for exceptions and favoritism to play out. So we saw a little bit of favoritism going on. What individuals and groups have an important stake in the outcome? Ultimately, the decision affects the child and minor in each scenario. A question we need to ask here is the welfare of each child being taken into consideration when looking at each scenario? Have all the relevant stakeholders been consulted? This is tricky for me to answer because I feel as though not all stakeholders have been consulted, but it's hard to know because I feel like each situation is lacking information. Can I learn more about the situation? There is definitely more that I can learn about each situation. There's not a whole lot of information given, and I would like to look into more information before making a decision. Do I know enough to make a decision? Overall, I feel like I don't have enough information to make a solid decision in regard to each attendance scenario. I found myself wanting more and asking questions as I read through each scenario. Alrighty, what could I do in this situation? So, before I would make any decisions as a principal, I would seek out information relating to each individual scenario. It would be silly to not take any action because something clearly needs to happen. After finding out more information, it would be important for me to distinguish which scenarios violate state law as well as violate the welfare of the child's education. It is very clear that all stakeholders are not on the same page when it comes to attendance policies. There needs to be consistency across the board when it comes to what constitutes an excused absence. District policies need to be reviewed with staff in regard to attendance to ensure that everyone is on the same page. This should be done at a PD time or PLC time. I would utilize a CFIP framework in order to discuss and address the current attendance rates. It would be beneficial to know exactly what the attendance rates were of Golden Oak High School for the current school year as well as the previous year. Knowing this information first and foremost would be beneficial to compare attendance rates to previous years. Using a CFIP framework allows for all stakeholders to have a hand in change, which is crucial to the school improvement process. This will be essentially important for stakeholders such as the athletic director, school counselors, secretaries, and teachers who are clearly not on the same page when it comes to attendance policies. And then I put a question down here at the bottom. I'm not sure if you can see it. Oops. I'll try to zoom in on it. This was kind of profound for me as I was working on this assignment. The question at the bottom says, how can we stress to the community the importance of giving each child the right to an education? In what ways can we let the community know that attendance should always be top priority? I felt those were very profound questions because attendance is important and we want the community to be on the same page as all stakeholders within the school building. Alrighty, section 7. One of the biggest cons that I could see to addressing all stakeholders is that everyone is going to react to change differently. The athletic director who has been getting away with excusing athletes from class is most likely going to react differently than the teacher who has been taking attendance correctly all along. Addressing this topic will be sensitive for some stakeholders involved, and it is important to keep this in mind. One of the biggest pros of addressing stakeholders using a CFIP protocol is that this model really seeks to get to the heart of the problem and includes all stakeholders in the decision-making process. Rather than it being on one person solely, it becomes a group effort. And last but not least, choose the best option. As stated previously, utilizing a CFIP model would be the way to go in my opinion. The 6 steps in this model really seem to prove effective in addressing a particular problem and then working to solve it. And then here is my reference. This is the CFIP model that I used, that I referenced throughout my presentation. Thank you for watching and listening, and also thank you for a great semester. I really appreciated you being my professor. Thanks a lot.